Rolling. Okay. Well, good evening. We welcome you to In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman. And I tell you, we're so excited to be with you guys on this evening. Let me tell you something. This episode is going to be phenomenal. We got a special guest that's going to be joining us in a couple of moments. And I tell you, it's going to be life-changing. You don't want to miss it. Listen, you want to get on the phone. You want to call your neighbors. You want to call your friends, especially those that are blended families, those that are new to this blended family dynamic, those that are already blended families. You want to be here. You will not be disappointed on tonight. We're just so excited. I'm telling you, we got some things to cover, but I just can't wait to get into this. This young man that we're going to be sharing with you on tonight is just an awesome individual. I love him. He's a part of our family. I mean, we've been together 20 years. I said we've been together. We've been together 20 years. And I tell you, it's just been an awesome, awesome, awesome journey. We've grown together. We've cried together. We've laughed together. We've fussed together. We've done it all. But I tell you, we've just grown so close as men and as fathers. And the wisdom that he's going to impart on tonight, just some tidbits to help you. I hope you jot them down. I hope you record them. You do whatever you need to do, because I promise you what's going to be shared on tonight is going to be just flat out life-changing. And so we're going to go ahead and jump into this like we always do. We share some statistics, and then we're going to call them on up. So, sweetheart, let's get some statistics.
Alrighty. Younger children tend to adapt and adjust better to a blended family than older children. An older child is more likely to be resentful of his newly formed family or step-parent. Mm-hmm. The attitude of both parents play a huge role in how the child will adjust to the blended family. Parents who demonstrate negativity or talk badly about the step-parent will make the transition more difficult for their children. When parents do this, children may feel they need to choose sides or keep loyalty to a biological parent. Many blended families report being happy and are able to make their unique situation work.
So again, we share these statistics. They're just a point of contact, a point of reference, a marking space where you can look at your life and your family. You can see where you're going, where you need to go, where you don't need to go. And so it's important that you at least know how the blended family dynamic is looked at, how it operates, and what you need to do to make this thing better. Again, younger children tend to adapt and adjust better to the blended family than older children. Anybody that knows babies or younger children, it's so easy to just get them to go along with things. And so that's the reason why you can win a younger child over a lot quicker and easier than you can an older child, because they're a little bit more set in their ways, their opinions, their thoughts about things. And so we want to share that with you. Then it says the attitude of both parents, and this is why this particular episode is so awesome. It says the attitude of both parents play a huge role how the child will adjust to the blended family. Let me tell you guys something. Our attitude and how we attack this blended family dynamic was huge. It made this transition so easy and so effortless and so successful that it's like, when we're together, when we have the whole family together, it's just a big shindig, you know. It's just one of those big hoorah type of things. Everybody's just together. There's no isms or schisms. There's no division. There's no on this side or that side. We're just one loving family. And so it's important to have the proper attitude. Right. And you guys are going to witness that on tonight. It's important to have the proper attitude and make the proper adjustments in order to have that successful life. And then it says, many blended families report being happy. That's why we're here every Tuesday night. We want to assist in your happiness. There are some things that we've learned over 20 years that will assist you, that will accompany your growth, your maturation, and it will take you to another level and another dimension as it relates to the blended family. And so, listen, I'm ready. I'm ready to move on because I don't have a lot of time. So I want to invite this gentleman. Sweetheart, you want to switch places with him?
Yes.
Okay. Come on over here, Mr. Walter. This guy right here, this is my guy. I'm going to tell you something. He has no idea how excited I am that he's here with me. And I'm going to tell you something. This guy is one of the reasons why I worked so hard at being a great dad. I remember years ago when I came into this family dynamic, and I told him, I don't want to replace you. I'm not here to replace you. All I want to do is assist you. And I thank God he allowed me the opportunity to assist him with 3 beautiful young women, 3 beautiful girls that have grown up to be very beautiful young women, attractive, successful. And so this is my guy, Walter Clark. And I'm telling you, we're going to jump right into, I don't know what he's going to say.
Let's go.
I don't know what he's going to say. You know, I've already prayed. But I'm telling you something, we're going to have a great time. It's going to be good. And so, Walt, I've been talking to people and I've been getting some questions. And I got a couple questions here, plenty more, because I don't think this is going to be a one-time thing. But I got a couple questions, and we're going to jump right into it. And so the first question is, what do you believe is key when it comes to co-parenting as fathers?
I think what's key is communication is paramount. Being able to effectively communicate and being able to be open and discuss family policies, family dynamics, the changing of family dynamics, the needs of the group of kids or the individual child. I think those are the things. I think the communication piece is key, because there's a lot of things that you're going to have to go back and forth with. Now, some of it's going to come out in a little argument or this or that. But the fact is it's being looked at and it's being talked about. At least it's out in the open. Okay, if it doesn't come out in the open, then it stays in the closet, and then it becomes a problem later on that is much more difficult to deal with. But I think that's, for the most part, communication is key.
And you guys hear us talk about that all the time. Communication, like you said, you got to talk. You got to discuss some things. And you want to do this early on. One of the things that allowed us to be as successful as we are is because we communicated early on. There were some things I had to go to him on and say, listen, what do you think about this? How are we going to do that? And it's funny because I talked to him more about it than I talked with my wife and the girls. But it was important for me to have him 100% on board as far as me being a part of their life, because I didn't want us to have any issues early on that would prohibit us from showing them what they needed to see as men and as fathers. And so we sat down and we discussed some things, and he shared some things with me, how he wanted to see things go. I shared some things with him, how I wanted to see some things go, and we came to an even tilt. And we just grew from there. But what made it so successful is we were willing to communicate. You have to be willing to communicate. You have to, and one of the things, I'm not going to move too fast, I know he has a lot to share. I mean, I'm holding him back, but I know he has a lot to share with you guys.
You're doing fine.
And so number 2, what was, this is a good one right here.
Okay.
What was the most challenging in co-parenting with me when we first started?
The most challenging thing was to see, this was the most challenging thing, to see the girls with you and then they're with me, and to hear them, how they interact with you, but then how they interact with me and what their ideas were between the two. But that was a good thing, though. That was a good thing, because, see, I wanted you had developed your own relationship with them. I had my relationship with them, and they knew what that was. You had developed a relationship with them. So the hardest thing was making sure I was giving you enough room to do that.
Wow.
Making sure I was giving you enough room to do that. Because if I didn't do that, one of the biggest things that happens is the biological parent has the loyalty of the said children, and then the parent that's not biological, gets all the issues and the problems and the non-loyal issues. And the fact is, then that makes it so much harder to develop a relationship with said kids.
Wow, I didn't know that. This
is why you got me here.
Exactly. Like I said, I don't know what's going to be said. I know it's going to be good, but I thank God that He allowed me to develop a relationship with them. And there were some things that He would tell me early on. I think you should do this, and I think you should do that. And just having a heart to want to listen to the advice that He gave me. Because again, He's the biological father. Anybody know their kids, He would know them better than I. And so, again, there were some things that He would share early on. It was like, I really don't know about this. How about you do that? And I would take those things in and I would apply them. And consequently, I developed the relationship that I wanted to develop with the girls because I was smart enough to listen to somebody who already had what I was looking to get. And so, oh man, this guys, this is good. Did you and I discuss how the kids would address me?
I'll tell you, you were talking about something early on about when I stopped my daughter one time when she was saying Dad 1 and Dad 2. That goes back to your relationship with them and my relationship with them. I don't think we actually discussed that, but I know that was a question that I know 2 of my daughters asked me.
Okay.
Well, what should I call him? And I said, well, what type of relationship do you have, and what do you feel comfortable calling him? And I said, you don't need to give me the answer. That's for you to work out with him. And when I told them that, they kind of was taken back a little bit.
Okay.
And I said, because you guys got to make that work in that house. I said, you guys got to make it work. I said, you're smart enough to make it work. You know what you need to do. And again, they kind of took back and they didn't answer, and they thought about it. That was the first time I really saw those little marbles they call eyes roll around and see that they're really doing some real work.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that was that.
So let me ask you this, because we got 20 years in this now, and
It's been that long.
It's been that long.
That ain't that old.
Me either. Don't worry. Time is still for us. Don't worry at all. But the funny thing is, I was talking with Shia, and Shia is our baby girl, and I was talking with her a couple weeks ago, and I told her, I said, after 20 years, can you get another way to address me? And she started laughing.
Of course she was.
And she started laughing because, now, the funny thing, guys, is I met my wife in church. And so when I met my wife, I was a minister. And so they always called me Minister Hyman. But the funny thing is, 20 years later, the girls still call me Minister Hyman. And I'm like, hey, listen, you can call me anything. Call me Joe, call me Bob, but you're going to have to give me another name. we should be a little bit more personal by now than Minister Hyman. It's so funny because all of them laugh. But
it's what she's comfortable with.
But that's what she's comfortable with.
That's what I'm saying. That's what... When you got on the subject, you was gonna. I knew you were gonna get me to start laughing because I did. When you said her, I said, "Oh my God!"
and that's what she's comfortable with.
When she would talk about you to me, that's what she would say, Minister Hyman, Minister, and it just rolled off her tongue like it. I said, "Are you comfortable with that?" And she would always say this, "Yeah, huh?" Whatever that meant. I guess it meant yes.
That's what it meant, and so that's good. Was there a particular conversation or situation that brought this relationship closer?
I don't think it was a conversation. I think it was more of a situation because when I would see the girls and when I would talk to them, I could see that the dust of the dust had settled as far as how you guys have the relationship was established, and there was an understanding there, a clear understanding and a good understanding, and they were happy with it, and they just continued to grow from there, and they turned out great, and they talk about some of the things today that they kind of thought were issues, and then I kind of told them, I said, well, listen, I says, how did you turn out? What did you learn from that? And they said, well, they told me what it was they learned, and I says, and what are you going to teach your kids? You're going to teach them what you learned. You're going to teach them what you learned, and they're going to turn out great, and you're going to be so proud to see them sprout up, grow, and walk their walk and do their thing, and you can sit back and be a proud parent to have great kids like me and Brandon.
Exactly. Exactly. We'll make it clear.
I want you to think I was leaving you out.
No, I already knew the response was going to be. I didn't have a problem. I was waiting. I already knew.
You give yourself too much credit. But anyway.
No, but
right.
Again, there's not always going to be the need for a conversation. Sometimes there are situations, sometimes there are events. It can be a multiplicity of things that can trigger or turn that relationship around, but you have to be open. And so, like Walt said, he was open to watching their response and their reactions to me and this family and how we grew. Because there were some things early on that we're going to talk about in the near future that could have been very unsettling.
Oh, yeah.
As relates to this family.
No doubt.
And that could really have rocked this family. Because again, you guys hear me talk about it all the time. I was clueless. I didn't have a lick of sense as it came to raising kids, especially 3 young women. Again, one was 16, one was 13, the other was 10. And so I was clueless as it relates to how to deal with them. I came from a very strict background, almost military sort of say. There were some things I just liked a certain way, and I didn't have an understanding on how to deal with them individually as well as corporately. And so I was making a lot of dumb decisions early on, a lot of unwise decisions. But because I had a heart to see things better, and because I wanted better, not only for myself, but for my wife and my family, I just opened myself up to receive. And I opened myself up to listen. And again, Walt played a great role in helping me with that. Even more than he even know. He's probably hearing me say some things now that he's never heard me say before. But again, the role that he played in my life as it relates to my girls has been tremendous. So much so, it was like there were times when they were younger and, as a dad, he had visitation. Well, I was the one who was like, you know what? I want to make this thing work. And you don't have to worry about, there were times where I said, you don't have to worry about coming get them. We'll bring them to you. Because I was so excited to play that role. You guys have no understanding how excited I was to be able to be a part of 3 individual lives to make sure that they be all that they were intended to be and grow up the way they were intended to grow up. And so I was excited to do that. And there were times when we would sit down. And again, he would just share like little nuggets. He got a lot to say, but he could say a lot in a little bit. And so he would just share. He like that, right?
That pretty much sums it up.
Exactly.
That pretty much sums it up.
But he would share a lot with me in a little bit of words that would just assist me in being the man that I am today. And he has no idea how much I owe him for allowing me to grow with him and his family. And I got kind of choked up.
No, there's one comment real quick.
Go ahead.
It says, some kids don't have one dad. Those are special kids to have two loving dads. What an amazing job you guys have done.
Yeah, let me tell you guys something. It was work.
Oh,
Let me be clear.
they were tough. Hey, look, listen. The thing I did was you had to establish a relationship. I had to give you the room. I had to give you the little nuggets. Listen, with this one, you're gonna have to be like this. Listen, you can't let her get away with this. You can't let her, because she's gonna take it and she's gonna run with it if you let her go. So you gotta kind of restrain that. With this one, you can kind of coddle that one, and you can use this one to get to this one and this one. And so I shared a few of those things, and then I would just say, go to work,
And I went to work.
go to work,
and I went to work.
See everything as an opportunity. When there's everything's an opportunity for growth. Everything's an opportunity for growth. Even though it may seem like, oh, I am so sick and tired of hearing this, that, and the other, so on and so forth. What's going on? Why are you guys doing this? Yada, yada. It's an opportunity for you to go in, look around, observe what's really happening, find out, get to the bottom of it, see what's really going on. You know, I found out one thing about our youngest daughter, Shia. She was upset one time because she thought that when she got good grades that she wasn't being rewarded. So she didn't say she didn't care. She says, well, she decided that she wasn't going to work that hard. And this was a conversation I had with her. And I said, well, okay. I said, put your deal on the table. She said, what do you mean? I said, what do you want? She says, I want a pair of Jordans. I said, how much they cost? She said, $200. I said, you bring me A's, you can get it. She said, oh, for real? I said, yeah. Deal came. She got the A's. I said, here's $200. I said, you ready to go get your Jordans? She said, yeah. Now here's the real opportunity. We got in the store. I walked her around to several different stores. And she saw these little shirts and some jeans that she liked and some other things that she liked. I said, what you doing? I said, come on, we're going to get these Jordans. She said, wait, Dad, wait. I said, here the money. I put the money in her hand. I said, come on, let's get the Jordans. We got to get out of here. And I'm pushing her because I wanted to see if she saw the value in what it was. She said, well, Dad, she says, can I have the $200 and I just buy something else? I said, well, who got the money? She said, oh, for real? I said, well, I ain't got it. What, you think I'm going to snatch it from you? If you can give it back to me, I can do something with it. And, you know, that's the way she was like, Dad, okay, well, I'm going to get me a few shirts. And I said, Then I knew that she realized the value of what it was. The Jordans meant nothing. She could get some other things and still have some cash left to do some other things that she wanted. And I recognized in making that deal, that opened up a lot of things for her. And she did so much better in school, and all around. She played basketball, did great. And they had to get her in shape though. But, she did a good job. She really did good.
And so, guys, listen, I hope you guys are taking these nuggets. I hope you are. Again, this isn't going to be the last. I promise you. It's not going to be the last. I got a whole nother set of questions that I didn't even want to show him because I knew it was going to be good and we were going to have to do this one more time. So let me ask you this question because we're almost out of time. Ooh, wow. So,
all right.
What did you discuss with the girls as it related to having two fathers in their lives?
The only thing I discussed with them is about the relationship you have with people. Because universally, we're all a family. We're all a family. The way you treat the people that you live with, it's the same way you're going to treat some of those people out there that you're going to get to know, that's going to become friends, and that's going to become your family, your immediate family, one day or another. So I put it on a universal basis, and they understood. They understood. They have great friends. They get along well. They're not maladjusted. I'm a happy man.
Wow.
I'm a happy man.
Again, I didn't know this. Everything that you guys are hearing, I'm pretty much hearing myself for the first time. And it was just important for me to have Walter on with me because, again, you guys have heard me share. Even early on, I remember when he used to come and see the girls. And one time in particular, we were at the house and you were standing at the door talking to the girls. And so I'm like, well, who are the girls talking to? And so I come downstairs and you were standing outside. I'm like, come in the house. Where your girls are, you're welcome. And so that's the kind of relationship I wanted to have with him from the beginning because it was important. I wanted them to see healthiness. Because again, when you're raising young women, especially when you're raising young women, they need to see healthy men.
Oh, yeah.
They need to see healthy men relationships. They need to see men honor each other and respect each other. Not dishonor, not disrespect. That's not saying we always saw eye to eye. We always agreed with everything.
No.
But we were mature enough to put our differences to the side for the sake of them. And that's what we want to share with you guys on tonight. You have to be big enough, mature enough, wise enough, old enough, whatever, grown enough to put your differences to the side. Because at the end of the day, what you're disagreeing about isn't worth anything anyway. It has no substance. It has no relevance, especially as it relates to these children. And that's what we're here for. We're here for them. Yeah. And so, again, wow, what time is it, y'all?
Y'all got 4 minutes.
Again, I'm going to stop on the questions. But is there anything that you want to share?
That was actually you were touching on something that I did want to talk about, and this is something that will help a lot of people out there. A lot of times when we get in arguments and we're fussing or we're not getting along, we've actually lost sight of what it is we really wanted, what we really want. Because you're focusing on what it is that you don't want or what it is that you don't want to happen. Focus on what you do want to happen and drive that way. And when you do that, you'll start to see things turn out better. If you want to see happiness in a house, that doesn't mean that there's not going to be any fusses or arguments, because the arguing actually tells you what it is that you don't want. And then you learn what to do to stay away from that, to make it better. Well, wait a minute. I yelled or I was talking in a condescending tone. I won't do that this time. When I'll approach him, I'll say, hey, honey, listen, can we talk about this? And I don't really want to raise my voice above a whisper. Can we try that? You think that'll work? Because that's what I want. And I think that's what you want. Take it from that angle. Focus on what you want and take all that other stuff out of it. Leave the other stuff. If you focus on that, then you'll get more like-minded ideas that'll keep you moving forward. That's how you move forward. That's how you continue to move forward. Think about what it is that you would like and that you want, and you'll be surprised who will come with you. You'll be surprised who will come with you.
Listen, guys, write the vision, make it plain. There's some things that you're going to have to write out. I'm listening to Walt when he's talking and I'm hearing some things. You're going to have to write out your family creed. Write out things that you want to see, that you don't want to see, and then focus on those things. And if you see yourself detouring or veering that way, you got something that you can look at and say, you know what, we off course. This is not the way we want to go. This is not how we designed it.
Have them write what they want. The stuff that they don't want, leave it behind. Write what you want.
Write what you want.
Write the things you want. And that way it'll keep you going in the right direction.
There we
you
go.
don't want to turn around and look back when you're going forward.
So listen.
Somebody's gonna catch you.
So listen. I told you guys, I almost didn't get any sleep last night because I was waiting on this. Let me tell you guys something. Listen, it's been so exciting. I thank you for tuning in with us in the blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman. And listen, what's your schedule like next week?
Let me get back to you on that. Let me get back to you on
We're going
that
to pick this up. We're going to, trust me.
Let me get back to you
We
on
might
that.
be out of time, but we not out of questions. So we're going to pick this up. So he's going to let me know how his schedule is, and we're going to schedule this. I promise you guys, there's so much that we can discuss. Again, I'm talking about 20 years. 20 years of a great relationship, a successful family, and there's a lot that we can give you guys that will assist you in getting all that you want from this family dynamic. So we thank you for tuning to In the Blender. Do we have our final thoughts, people?
No.
Okay. But you know our final thought. You chose to be a family, a blended family. Now choose to be successful. We love you guys. We thank you for tuning in. Tune in next Tuesday. I might have them back. We love you guys again.
Email them. Get an email
Oh,
address.
listen, if you got any questions
Yeah, that they might want.
that you want to ask Walter, email us at weareablendedfamily@gmail.com. Again, that email is weareablendedfamily@gmail.com.
And if they have questions
I
for
know
him,
you got some juicy questions for him. So if you got something for him, listen, shoot that email over so when I get him back on, we can dive right into it. So we love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, bye-bye.